Well, hello again and welcome to another edition of the Speed Bag. Today, a little segment that I like to call, is this awesome or not awesome? Maybe you've heard, but one of the best fighters on planet Earth is fighting this Saturday, and he will be taking on some guy. I guess another way of putting that is that UFC flyweight champion Demetrious Johnson will defend his title against the winner of season 24 of The Ultimate Fighter. And they will be doing that basically for a complete lack of better options. See, at this point, Johnson has beaten everybody worth beating in the UFC flyweight division. Some of them, more than once. And, since he has no more mountains left to climb, or I guess, in this case, like 125-pound mountains, which is like hills or bluffs or maybe those annoyingly high speed bumps in retirement communities, point is, he might as well basically fight a contest winner at this point. And that's not me trying to talk down the tough 24 guys. I mean, they're tough fighters. They gave it everything they had. But the two guys who made the finals, and if you know how to use the internet, you can pretty much easily figure out who wins that, they both have losses to basically every named flyweight that they've ever faced. Guys who Johnson ran through easily. And I know that MMA math doesn't always work that way, where if A beats B and B beats C, then A is automatically better than C. But sometimes it does. If either of these guys pops off the reality show and beats Johnson, it would be a colossal upset. Like maybe one of the biggest upsets in the history of the sport. Except that not enough people will care to make a big deal about it, which I guess is how we got here in the first place. And by here, I mean Demetrious Johnson, a nearly flawless fighter, getting ready to defend his title against somebody who is not really a proven contender in the division, and doing it on a late-night cable TV fight card. And a tough finale fight card, which, historically one of the lowest tiers of UFC programming, like one step away from defending your title in Poland on a Fight Pass card in the middle of the afternoon. But I guess what I'm asking is that necessarily bad in this case? Because we've seen what happens when Johnson fights on pay-per-view. And by we, I mean the tiny segment of the population that feels like those fights are worth buying. Even when he fights on Fox, the ratings are pretty disappointing, and that's against proven contenders. So, fine. If the public has decided that it doesn't care what Demetrious Johnson does, why not let him do whatever? Fight reality show winners, pick a name out of a hat, beat that person up. Maybe have a game show where like 10 125-pound men all have to walk down a hallway and open a mystery door. And for 9 of them, there's a big pile of money. And for the 10th one, there's Demetrious Johnson waiting to punch them in the face really fast. Might as well, right? Because if he goes out there and he smashes someone who is not even close to his level, which is almost everybody, maybe then people will actually appreciate how good he is. And if he somehow loses, then, that's a Rocky movie, but like with everything shrunk down by like 50%. And if nothing at all interesting happens, who cares? It's just a tough finale card, man, just squeezed in between 2 mediocre UFC Fight Night events. See what I mean? There's a kind of freedom in completely giving up. Then you can do anything. Maybe, given a long enough timeline, we'll wind up trying everything.